Happy Friday, everybody. It is time to look at the Steelers status report as they get prepared to head to the West Coast to face the 2-10 Oakland Raiders. Listed as out, we knew these two guys most likely would be on the list. James Conner and Marcus Gilbert now missing his 6th straight game. Listed as questionable heading into the Raiders game, Morgan Burnett, who did not play last week against the Chargers, and Anthony Chickillo, who did not practice all week but was a full participant today. Chickillo was injured in-game on Sunday Night Football. Bob Labriola is with me now to live in his fears and talk about it. And Labs, I know yesterday Chickillo was the one that you had mentioned, especially with just the number of outside linebackers the Steelers have had this season. But he is questionable, which is a lot better than what I thought he was going to be based off of yesterday. Yeah,
and I think that the actual trip could have some bearing on this. You know, airplane travel, pressurized cabins,
long
flights, all of those things, you know, can have impact on injuries. And I think Morgan Burnett and Anthony Chickillo fall into that category where, you know, based on how they walk off the plane tomorrow, I guess it's going to be late morning out on the West Coast, might have a lot to do with whether they're able to play or not Sunday afternoon. So, you know, questionable technically means 50-50 chance, and I think that Morgan Burnett and Anthony Chickillo are right there, right on that percentage as we speak right now.
All right, now on Tuesday, Coach Tomlin set the record straight and ruled out James Conner. We've seen him do this before, and he always explains the reason he does it is to not only let that player know, but his teammates, so they can prepare knowing that they will not have him, not making it a game time type of decision. This week, I had a chance to sit down with quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, and I asked him if having no number 30 meant more pressure on him.
I always put pressure on myself. I think it definitely, when you don't have a weapon out there, it puts pressure on everybody. I think there's probably more pressure on the other running backs because they want to try and not let the ball drop, keep it rolling, things like that. But as a unit, we're just going to go out and keep doing what we have to do, and that's try to perform.
What are the extra things that you guys need to do as an offense this week to get those other running backs ready to go?
You know, I think it's you know, we'll do some no-huddle stuff, which all those guys know because we've put it in since day one. You know, just try not to complicate things, not throw a lot of different protections, not ask those guys to do too much stuff. Just do what they're good at and keep things rolling fast.
And Labs, when Ben said no huddle there, my ears kind of perked up because that is something that we have seen the Steelers offense thrive in, especially on the road where they have unfortunately had a better record than at home at Heinz Field.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Missy, to see how the whole thing plays out. I mean, you know, I think that Mike Tomlin indicated that at his news conference on Tuesday, early in the week, that it was going to be a running back by committee kind of approach, but he also said that he was going to leave himself open to the week of preparation and allow that to speak to him a little bit. And then I also think that whatever comes out of that could change in the game based on who is performing well, who might have a hot hand, you know, those kinds of things, because I think that there is a level of confidence with both Stephen Ridley and Jalen Samuels in all aspects, you know, of the position, the running of the football, the blitz pickup, the blocking, and also in the passing game. I mean, I don't know that Stephen Ridley is as accomplished a receiver necessarily as Jalen Samuels might be in terms of running routes and things, but I do think we have seen him. He is able to, you know, go out for a pass, turn, face the quarterback, catch the ball, and then get upfield with it. So while neither of them, I don't think, are to the level of James Conner, obviously, because James Conner is the starter and they're not. I think each guy brings some tools to the party that can be utilized. And for me, in my mind, this really is going to lay at the feet of the offensive linemen. I think that if those guys play to their capability, to their level, and I believe their level is one of the top offensive lines in football, I think that you can help make a guy look better than he is.
All right, Labs, thanks so much for joining me today. And my full interview with Ben Roethlisberger will be posted on Steelers.com on Friday at 6 p.m. so you can check the entire thing out then. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Mike Prisuta is on deck with his plays to ponder for the Raiders. All right, well, it would not be a Friday without Mike Prisuta. Here's Mike with his plays to ponder for the Oakland Raiders.
Thanks, Missi. We're going to take a little bit of a different approach this week on plays to ponder, given that the Steelers are getting ready to play the NFL's number 29 scoring offense and the NFL's number 31 scoring defense, given that they're about to play a Raiders team that has won twice in 12 tries this season. I thought we'd take a look not so much at this year's Raiders, but what the Steelers might be up against going to Oakland. If you've been paying any attention at all, you probably know by now that since 2006, the Steelers have ventured to Oakland 3 times. They have taken on 3 Raiders teams that went on to win a combined 10 games, and they lost all 3 of those games. This is what can happen when the Steelers go to Oakland, and we thought maybe as a public service announcement, we'd give you a reminder this week. Let's go back to 2013, 1st and 10 from the Oakland 7 in the first quarter. This is the first offensive snap of the game, and that is Terrell Pryor, the pride of Jeanette, Pennsylvania. That is Troy Polamalu he's running away from, among others. That is a long, long touchdown run, 93 yards worth of it. The Raiders would go on to rush for 197 yards in this game. This is what started it, the old read option, which has become a lot more popular now than it was back then. That was a Raiders team that was destined to finish 4-12, and a Steelers team that was destined to finish 8-8. The Raiders won the game 21-18. This is what can happen in Oakland. There you go. They're not going to catch him. Terrell Pryor taking it to the house, taking it to the black hole against the Steelers back on October the 27th, 2013. Let's take a look now at September the 23rd, 2012. First and goal from the Steelers 3 in the second quarter. Does that guy look familiar? It's none other than Darius Hayward-Bay catching a 3-yard touchdown pass from Carson Palmer. This one tied the game at 14-14 and was one of 2 catches for 14 yards on the day for Darius Hayward-Bay. Now fast forward to 3rd and 10 from the Steelers 26. Fourth quarter, 3 seconds left. That is Sebastian Janikowski lining up for a 43-yard field goal attempt. Since the Steelers are in Oakland and they're playing in the black hole, there it is in the background. You know where this ball's going. It is going between the uprights. Oakland wins the game 34-31. The Steelers were headed for 8-8. The Raiders were headed for 4-12. This is what can happen in Oakland. Now, last but not least, let's go to October the 29th, 2006. 3rd and 7 from the Oakland 7, fourth quarter. That's Ben Roethlisberger throwing it into the end zone, and that is Chris Carr of the Raiders, and he is going 100 yards with the interception return, a pick 6. The Steelers had a chance to make this game 13-13 in the fourth quarter. Instead, they fall behind 20-6 on that play. This was one of 4 interceptions that Roethlisberger threw on the day. He had been concussed the previous week in Atlanta. He throws not just 4 interceptions, but 2 of them returned for touchdowns, including this 100-yard effort by Chris Carter. The Steelers were on their way to 8-8. The Raiders were on their way to 2-14. This was the Raiders' second and final win in the 2006 season. This is what can happen in Oakland. Of course, the Steelers-Raiders rivalry is much more than just recent history in Oakland. Yes, it dates back to December the 23rd, 1972. Who can forget this one? The Steelers are down in the final seconds. They have no chance. Bradshaw lets it fly, and it's caught out of the air by Franco Harris. There he goes down the sideline. Maybe the most unforgettable play in Steelers history, one of the most unforgettable games in Steelers history. This is what can happen when the Steelers play Oakland. Let's take a look at it one more time. Franco Harris doing what he had always been coached to do, and that's run to the ball. Franco Harris runs to the ball, catches it, and then runs into history with the immaculate reception. I don't think the Steelers are going to need anything quite that dramatic this Sunday. They need not be afraid of their recent history in Oakland, but they should think about it, they should ponder, if you will, what has happened on previous trips and take the necessary steps to ensure that it does not happen again. I'm Mike Prisuta, and those are this week's Prisuta's Plays to Ponder.
All right, and Prisuta definitely enjoying himself with his plays to ponder this week. Hopefully not so much the bad ones, but the good ones as the Steelers prepare to head out west. That is going to do it for this edition of Steelers Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday at 4 p.m.